Good morning. You have been in suspension for 50 days.
Portal 2 is the sequel to the surprise hit Portal. The first Portal game was released in the Orange Box bundle. Despite it competing with other big-name titles in the Orange Box, such as the Half-Life 2 expansions and Team Fortress 2, Portal managed to receive the most attention due to its intriguing concept and unique gameplay. Originally designed as a senior project at the highly acclaimed video game school DigiPen, the game called Narbacular Drop caught Valve's attention. Those students were then hired by Valve and created Portal. And now, 3.5 years later, its sequel has been released, and it lives up to every expectation. The game's story continues after the first one. You have been placed inside of a suspension chamber, where you stayed for an undefined number of years. Although, judging by the decay and plant growth of the facility, it has been a very long time. The game's story begins by you being awakened by Wheatley, a personality core that was created by Aperture scientists. He frees you from the suspension chamber, where the two of you begin your escape from the Aperture facility. Along the way, the two of you inadvertently awaken Gladys, who immediately begins to rebuild the place, while also having you test out some of the new features that have been introduced. The game starts with small puzzles, just to get you reacquainted with the idea of using portals as a way of transportation. This training is much shorter than the first game, so if you have not played Portal before, then you will have quite a bit of trouble trying to understand how the game works. But once you understand the idea behind it, you'll be thinking with portals. Although, that does not mean that this game will be easy. It's far from being easy. Veterans of Portal may quickly finish certain chambers in the game, but there are plenty of areas that will keep you staring at a wall, trying to figure out how to get past. Once you get past a difficult area though, the feeling of accomplishment is overwhelming. You'll feel like a genius, except when there's a certain area that gets you stumped, and then you figure out that there is a simple solution for it. Then you'll feel like an idiot.
Well done.
Portal 2 introduces many new elements that change the way you play the game, the first of which is the Hard Light Bridge. These can be used to block turrets so that they can't harm you. They can also be used as a bridge to connect one area to the other. Next are the thermal discouragement beams. These can destroy turrets, but are mostly used to open doorways by pointing them at a thermal switch. Excursion funnels will carry you and objects inside of its beam. They can also go in the other direction by holding down a pressure plate. You will use these to transport yourself and objects from one area to the other. Faith plates will send you or an object flying along in a certain direction. Next up are the gels. These are definitely the most interesting additions to the game. These gels were also inspired by a game created by DigiPen students. First is the propulsion gel. This gel will increase your running speed on whatever surface it's on, allowing you to propel yourself to unreachable areas. The next one is repulsion gel, which will allow you to jump to new heights. The gel can also be applied to walls to let you bounce back and forth to reach new areas. The third, white gel, will allow you to create portals on surfaces that you could not otherwise. These gels create a whole new type of gameplay element that adds a great deal to the core fundamentals. A new addition to the Portal universe is co-op. At first it seems difficult to understand how a co-op mode could be implemented, but once you begin playing, you'll soon realize how it can work. None of the chambers here can be completed by one person alone. Both players will need to communicate and work together. You may think that having two people solving the same chamber would make it easy, but that is not the case at all. These puzzles are even more complex than the single-player puzzles. Co-op is a great addition that doubles the amount of time you can spend playing the game. Just don't try to kill your partner too often.
I thought you'd be faster at this.
Portal 2 is an outstanding game that will give you an experience that you have never felt before. The puzzles are clever, the voice acting is great, the dialogue is witty, and the characters are so well developed that you will love or hate the ones you come across. Wheatley's tactless remarks will have you laughing every time he talks to you.
Ah! Oh, God. You look good. Looking good, actually. Are you okay? Are you... Don't answer that. I'm absolutely sure you're fine.
Gladys's constant jokes will also make you feel sorry for the character that you play as.
This plate must not be calibrated to someone of your generousness. I'll add a few zeros to the maximum weight. You look great, by the way. Very healthy. Try it now.
Despite all of its humor, it's never overdone. None of the dialogue ever feels stretched, and each of the characters talk and behave without ever getting to the point of ridiculousness. The graphics in this game are great. The plant life and lighting effects are beautiful to look at. The corrosion and mildew makes it feel as if the years have really passed in the game. You'll come across some of the same areas from the first game that have now become deteriorated. It adds to the feeling of being alone and abandoned. The music fits the game very well. Being alone, trying to solve a puzzle in a quiet chamber will set the mood for most of the game. But once a new story arc begins, the music will pick up, adding to the sense of urgency and the fight for survival. The game also comes with some extra features. It comes with each of the trailer videos, as well as a comic that ties the first Portal game with the second. There is also an interactive trailer for the movie Super 8. It's nothing too special, but it is a cool way to get advertising. People may complain about the length of the entire game, and while it may be short, it's not too short. Valve estimated that the single player and co-op should take about 6 hours for each. I finished the single player in 4 hours and co-op in 5 hours, but these times are not for everyone. This game requires thinking. It relies on problem-solving skills and a cognitive thinking process. So, depending on how well you can solve problems, the game could take well over 6 hours. But don't let that make you think you're stupid just because you can't solve a puzzle quickly. If these puzzles were easy to solve, then it wouldn't be much of a puzzle game. The only negative thing I have to say about Portal 2 is that there are no bonus maps for completing the game. The first Portal had advanced chambers that were based off of some single-player levels, but were redesigned to be much more difficult. It also had the options to beat some chambers with the least amount of portals, taking the least amount of steps possible, or taking the least amount of time to complete. These were features that added a great deal to the game by making you look at each puzzle in a completely new way. Unfortunately, these are missing in Portal 2. Hopefully Valve will make these available in a future update. I give this game a 5 out of 5. Portal is an original game that's refreshing amid all of these other shooting games. You may be thinking that you don't want to get this because you don't enjoy puzzle games, but Portal is different. It sets itself apart from most puzzle games by using an entirely unique gameplay concept. You will need to use gravity and momentum to reach new areas, as well as quick reflexes to shoot portals in midair. Certain areas will require quick thinking in order to keep yourself alive. If you're slow to act, you'll end up falling into an endless pit or getting shot by an army of turrets. It's a game that you can't stop playing until you finish it. The ambience and storytelling immerse you into the game world, giving you a feeling that you really are a test subject. The levels will keep you intrigued. Once you start a puzzle, you won't be able to quit until you have completed it. In between gaming sessions, you will find yourself trying to figure out how to get past the level. If you get stuck, there will be nothing else you can think about until you have finally figured out how to beat it. It will keep you excited as you wonder what will come up next. It is a game unlike anything you have ever played before, and it is definitely worth a purchase. Every self-respecting video gamer needs to have this in their library.
afraid you're about to become the immediate past president of the Being Alive Club. Seriously though, goodbye.